All right, it's me, English Music. Welcome to my religious life video blog, and I'm could be more happier about this one for this 20th Sunday of Pentecost. Wow, we're almost there. Oh yes, Matthew chapter 22nd, 22. Yes, Matthew chapter 22, verses 15 to 22nd says the Pharisees went and plot to entrap Jesus in what he said. So they sent their disciples to him along the uh, Herodians, and saying, "Teacher, we know that you are sincere and teach the way of God in accordance with truth, and show deference to no one. For you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us then, what you think is lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not." But Jesus, awares of their malice, and said, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for their tax." And they brought him a denarius. And then he said to them, "Whose head is this, and whose title?" They answered, "The emperor's." And then he said to them, "Give therefore to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were amazed, and they left him away. Left him and went away. Wow, it's gonna be cool. All right. Here's one. So how many times you pay taxes at a time like this? I know it's tax day, but who knows? So that's why everybody paying taxes, new fair tax, and why does Neil Board says new fair tax? Well, I have no clue whatsoever. So who knows? But that considering this for the Roman tax, because here, according to this one, Matthew chapter 22nd, verses 15 to 22nd. Now, the Pharisees and the Herodians want to entrap Jesus with a question. Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't you think it's being, that's why is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not? So here's why that Jesus knows the malice in their own hearts and try to respond with this cutting question. The question says, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." This is what happens, could be huge for this one. This is why they respond to the empress, Julius Caesar, and it's gonna be huge. Oh, here's why I got a little bit of change. So, show this to you. I got a little bit of quarters. So why am I dropping quarters at a time like this? Nickels and all that stuff. Just want to show you something. Oh gosh. If I'm dropping quarters at a time like this, here it is. This is a quarter. And times like this, because it has this one. So this one will show you something. Yes. So whose head is this? Might ask. Yes. Yes. I think it's George Washington. And you can see it right here. Here, so everybody knows about this. True citizen is in God's kingdom. That's what we devote to this resources to God's purposes. And what about we? But we give earthly powers for what is due. About paying taxes is one of the bedrocks of obligations. Especially Fred Flintstone lives in bedrock or whatever that happened is. So here's why. The obligations as we, as citizens or residents, try to undertake the service that we enjoy in a civilized society. Because those who work of first responders, and you know first responders, all the police, firefighters, medical people, and so on, in their hurricanes and all kinds of stuff, and the tragedy, Las Vegas massacre shooting, and all those political events that tragedy events that already know about this one, and so on. So as the social nets in this whole assure justice or aid for the poor, the aged, and the other in need. And that's why the Roman Empire was not governed this primarily for the benefit of the common people, and yet so it provides roads, water, policing, sometimes relief in all this. This because we may not always agree on the extent of services, because our government should prove with this. But we know that our taxes are being essential in improving for our personal protection and for the help of those who cannot help themselves. But what about all the government of activity try to serving God's purposes, and Jesus doesn't call on call us on the flout of tax requirements of the nations where we recite this. Take for instance, Jesus is saying in an essence that we do not necessarily. We have to resist paying taxes as a matter of principle. And that's why, when possible, we should live peacefully for all. It's from Romans chapter 12, verse 18. And while we also living as light shines in the darkness. And that is why to have work at our jobs and to refuse to pay our taxes in a way that brings brings dishonor to God's kingdom would be never peaceful or nor winsome. Now, let me just say this in my final words. This has direct applications to work in workplaces or some government laws and powers. But in addition to taxes, some governments have, you guessed it, have laws and practices that may violate Christian purposes and ethics. And as was true of Rome in the first century, government or their employees may demand bribes. They're begging for money, or anyone wants to keep civilized, except almost just try to bribe money. No. That's not how the system works. And then they try to impose unethical rules and regulations. Because the subject of these people to suffering and injustice, and use the taxes that purpose contrarily to God's will. As with taxes, Jesus doesn't demand that we resist every one of these abuses. We are like spies or anything else in their territory. And we cannot boggle down in fighting the enemy's kingdom at a stronghold, but instead, we must act strategically, and always asking, what will most further the establishment of God's kingdom on earth? And of course, the moral of this My Religious Life video blog story, and I mean to tell you this on my you know who, of this 20th Sunday of Pentecost. So here's why. So I gotta bring this television up here. And I couldn't even see it. Let me see. If you, I just want to bring this television up because I couldn't even notice. Anyways, in John chapter 6 says, chapter 6 verse 35 says that Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Who comes? It says, I am the bread of life. And who comes? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there it is. It says again, I am the bread of life. That's why the one who comes to me will never go hungry. And the one who never believes, who believes in me, will never be thirsty. And why? Because that's why we must engage in this abusive practices for our own benefit. That's why, according to Matthew chapter 22, knows about this. But who knows? This could be huge. Anyways, that's my religious life video blog story, and I'm sticking to it.